Okay, starting with Mr. Seth over there.
I'm Seth Bridger, relation is none.
I'm Casey Colby, I'm Mike's new best friend.
Travis Bauer, no relationship.
Kevin Anderson, I'm an instructor.
Christian Peterson, no relationship.
All right, now I'm going to hand this camera over to Seth, and he will film. All right. Hello, guys. My name is Michael McGilvery. I'm going to be explaining to you what we learned in Vietnam and semi-rigid underslung rotor systems. A big problem with semi-rigid underslung rotor systems is low G, and I'm going to explain why that is and how that happens, reasons to avoid it, and all that. All right, so basically the definition of low G is less than 1 G. So everything you guys are feeling in your seats right now is 1 G, okay? So less than 1 G isn't necessarily dangerous, but what happens in a low G pushover in a helicopter, if you recover improperly, it becomes dangerous. So I'm going to explain the aerodynamics of it. So here you are in forward flight. Okay, and here you are in a low G pushover. Alright, so your airfoil in powered on normal flight looks like this. Got your cord line, rotational relative wind, you have your induced flow, and because you're flying this way and you're going through ETL and everything, your induced flow is going to be horizontal, like this. So we're going to draw our induced flow horizontal, resultant relative wind, and your angle of attack. Now, this is good, powered on flight, right? Now what happens in a low G pushover is you could be leveling off from a steep climb, so you're climbing, boom, level off, or you can be flying and you can say, oh man, there's a bird right there, dump it forward. And the reason why we found out this in Vietnam was because they did nap of the earth flight, or nearest as possible. So they'd be flying over terrain like that, and they'd dump it forward, and then they'd low G themselves. This is what happens in a low G. Your induced flow becomes very vertical as opposed to very horizontal. So, here you got your blade again. This is your rotational relative wind. This induced flow becomes very vertical like that. And what's going to happen is your resultant relative wind is going to make your angle of attack very small. So, you're not producing any lift, right? And another thing that you've done is you brought this tail rotor over this plane. So what's going to happen is you're not producing lift, so you're going to dump forward, and you're going to roll to the right 100 degrees in 1 second. So basically it's going to be like this, and you're just going to be rolled to the right. The way to correct for it is gentle aft cycling to reload the rotors, then left lateral cycling. Where people get themselves into trouble in mass bumping is it's a natural reaction to dump it left. And what happens is the teetering or the coning hinge, along with the down flapping of the blade, is going to bring that bolt in contact with the mass, and you're going to get what's called mass bumping, and that's where the rotor blades shear off the helicopter, and it's extremely dangerous. So that's why we never practice low G pushovers. So that's one thing that we learned from Vietnam, and even today they're still dangerous. Like for instance, it used to be in your private check ride that your DPE would demonstrate a low G pushover to you after you passed. And so he would say, all right guys, sit on your hands. So they'd sit on their hands. So we're going to do a low G pushover. He'd dump it forward, they'd roll to the right. There's their natural reaction to take the cyclic and yank it to the left, and then get mass bumping, and that's why we don't practice anymore. So if you guys are ever in a helicopter and they say, all right, we're going to perform a low G, say no, say no. So be very careful of pushing that over. a semi-rigid underslung rotor system, which is what the Huey had, and that's what they flew in Vietnam, and that's the same thing that the Robinsons have. So that's what we learned. You got time, Seth?
Yeah, we're at 5 minutes.
Alright, that's good. The end.